I'm life and business coach Samantha Sifring, and this is the Online Business Building Mamas podcast, where you learn how to build a wildly successful business from home while raising kids. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. So I am recording this maybe like a week after getting home. No, not even a week. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Shortly after getting home from the Simple Scaling Mastermind event in Savannah, Georgia. And it was amazing. I don't know if any of you saw on my Instagram stories, but before I went, I just kind of had this inspiration to throw away all of my plans for the event. So in the past, I've created a script, a multiple page outline. I have created slides. It's been a whole thing that I have created, and it's been very polished and professional. And for this event, I threw it all out and had a very simple, one-page handwritten in my notebook plan for the 3 days and took it from there. And you know what is so crazy? This is the most comfortable I have ever felt. I really thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought I was going to feel really nervous coming onto the stage for 3 whole days with such a light plan and so much of it not figured out in advance or written down in advance. And it was the total opposite. I felt so much more comfortable. I felt so much more like myself and just free. So I just want to share that to any of you. It's totally unrelated to today's topic, but I've been thinking about it so much, and I think it's so easy for all of us to feel like we have to be like somebody else or do it like somebody else would to do it right or be successful, and it's just not true. And so I want to give you permission to just play in your business and have fun in your business and do it the way that is you. Why would we not do that? There's not a right way. So why would we pick the way that is not us? That feels obvious now, after the fact. Okay. And I also want to say, because we announced at the event that the next round is at the end of October. I think it's the week of the 19th. I definitely should have looked up the dates before I started recording, but you can find it on the sales page, samanthasifring.com/mastermind. It's all there. But here's the really exciting part. I have been wanting to share this news for so long. We are having the next mastermind event at the Four Seasons in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And if you don't know about Jackson Hole, it is amazing. It's so beautiful. The mountain views there are incredible. It's going to be so beautiful in the fall. It's going to be an incredible event. I'm taking this energy and playfulness into the next round, and it is really it's the place to be. So if you are at that phase of your business, or if you're going to be at that phase of your business by the end of the year, because some of you are growing fast and right now you're I'm far away from that phase, but by the end of the year, you'll for sure be in a place where you are maxed at your time that you can give to your business and feel like you're maxed at the money you can earn and you need to change up some stuff. That for sure is the time to join. Some people like to join before so that they can prevent getting to that place where they feel that tension and friction, or they do it in advance because they're I know it's going to happen in the next 6 months and I want to be in that room when it does happen. But for those of you who are already feeling that or are going to start feeling that in the next 6 months, for sure you want to join. Absolutely. So find the details on the sales page, but put it in your calendar and get on my email list so you know when the launches are. because you don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss being in this space and really learning together how to build the business that you want to have the way that you want to have it. I think that there's a lot of messaging out there, maybe that there's like one right way to do it. And that is not what happens in that room. What happens in that room is looking at the 4 principles of scaling and applying that to your business and then deciding the rest and like what you want that to look like on your own, but in the room. You get to have that like freedom and playfulness and I feel like autonomy and self-trust. Like just what I did going into that event, that is what I help you all cultivate in that room. And you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it by yourself. You can do it in that safe space where you have a lot of support. So that's my little plug for the next round of the mastermind. It is going to be amazing. And it's a little bit related to today's topic. So today's topic is something that I teach in Mama to CEO that I feel like is like very underrated genius in Mama to CEO. And this is the idea of creating clients that are already a yes when they reach out to you. They are pre-sold. So let's talk about how to do that. So I have like for a long time kind of thought that selling was really important and selling was like the value and like the way that we make offers and stuff that's super valuable. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I feel like there's some more nuance to it that I wanted to get into on this podcast. Because I think that this was really the genius for me growing my business is giving so much value that the value does the selling for you. So putting so much value out into the world that people are just a yes. They're just like, I want more. I want to pay this person. I want to work with this person. This is how it worked. Like when I think back to my Facebook group that I used to have and all the value I was putting in there, and I felt like everyone was coming out of the woodwork and my one-on-one got booked so fast. Like that phase of my business, what really worked during that phase of my business is putting out so much value. I've even gone back and I was like, oh, my offers were like pretty bare bones. I was not like doing these huge long sales pitches. It was just a lot of value. And people would be sold just because of me sharing my thoughts. So I want to really encourage you to not overthink the selling stuff. And I want you to maybe just experiment with trusting that that will happen if you're putting a lot of value out there. So let's talk a little bit about value because I see this really tripping up a lot of people. And I want to say this, if you're thinking about value and you start feeling really bad about yourself, that is not correct. That is not the way to do it. That's not useful to you. Like I want you really using the concepts that you hear on this podcast. And for those of you who work with me, the concepts that you get in my programs, like these need to be useful to you. And if you're feeling really bad, then we need to talk about it because that means it is not useful. So let's talk about value in a super useful way. This is what I think is like the most valuable thing in the world is just being yourself to more people. This is like how I describe marketing now. Marketing is being yourself to more people. And this value thing, like it's all wrapped up in it. Like it is truly just being in this place where you are really owning your expertise, owning the fact that you are actually good at stuff, and you all are. Everybody who's listening, you have your expertise. And if you think about those moments when you're like really feeling yourself and you're like very confident, I feel like we all have these moments where like we really believe in ourselves and feel confident about ourselves. So like take that version of you and take it out into the world. Get it in front of more eyeballs. Get visible with that energy, that part of you. I also like to think about who I am when I'm just the most comfortable and the most free to just be me and just like show up as the fullest version of me. And this feels like it should be embarrassing, but I don't feel as embarrassed as maybe I should. But for me, I feel like the first way that I really knew like what this version of me was when I had a drink or two. Like when I was out with friends at dinner or with family at a holiday and I had like a glass or two of champagne or something like that. And like I just relaxed and just let myself be unfiltered and just let people see me. So that was like the first way. So I used to just be like, wow, like a little bit tipsy Samantha is very fun and entertaining. And what I learned over time is that I can be that way just whenever I'm comfortable. It's not about the alcohol. It's about feeling like I'm free to be myself. And in that, I think is some risk. And I think this is why we don't do it more often, is that we are opening ourselves up to rejection. And as women, what we are so much better at doing, because we are very well trained and very well practiced at doing it, is like contorting ourselves into what we think the other person likes or wants. And unfortunately, with our marketing, this ends up with like really boring marketing that's not actually valuable. And for a lot of us, it ends up being mostly just like regurgitation of other people. So if you are thinking about your content and you're like, oh, that's totally me, you're not alone. That's me sometimes. Like sometimes my content is boring as shit and we are just like that sometimes. So don't have this like huge high expectation for yourself that it has to be this like groundbreaking, amazing thing. Like that's not useful either. But I want you to just experiment with relaxing and letting yourself just show up like you, like relaxed you. And for me, that's kind of goofy. That's kind of sassy. And these are for sure like ways that I was taught to not be, right? Like we were all taught to not be the thing that was like a little less socially acceptable or like acceptable for school or acceptable in our religions or like who knows, right? Like we all have these stories, but I want you to start seeing if you can peel back some of that conditioning and really tap into you. What I'm not talking about is feeling like you have to be really polarizing, like you have to put out wild opinions that are going to be really unpopular, unless that's like your truth, right? You don't have to do that. I don't actually feel like I'm that polarizing. I don't feel like I have a lot of haters. Of course, there's people who don't like me. There's people who don't like all of us. But I'm not one who's like putting out a lot of controversial opinions because I don't know that I have that many like super controversial opinions as it relates to my business. So you don't have to be doing that. I think a lot of times when we hear this, we're like, oh, authenticity means I have to like wear non-matching clothes and have blue hair and like say really offensive stuff on the internet. That is not like authentic and being yourself and being like interesting and valuable unless that's who you genuinely are. So I want you to just explore who is the real me and like maybe who's the real me that only comes out when I'm really comfortable with somebody. Who's the real me that I learned was maybe not okay to be all of the time? Who's the real me that I'm afraid people are going to not like and reject? That is where the magic is. That's where you want to explore, because really tapping into that part of you, I feel like it's like the youest you. Tapping into that and letting that be seen in the world, that is how you become a magnet to your people. That is how you create a lot of value, not by overthinking, not by regurgitating someone else, not by being someone that you're not by learning a bunch of stuff, going back to school, like all the things that you think you might need to do to be valuable. It's just being you in the world, owning your expertise, owning your personality, owning all the things that make you unique, being willing to take the risk to be rejected for who you are, but just like letting that be unleashed in the world. That is everything. That's how we create pre-sold clients, because people will buy because they feel connected to you. That's just how it works. We really like to think that people will buy because we've made this logical argument and we have like shown them all of the proof that this is like the best decision that they could make. That's not why people buy. Maybe it's part of it. People like my husband like to think that it's like a big part of it, but truly it's all about how people feel. So when they know the real you, when they're seeing that authentic you, they will trust you. They will like you. They will feel connected to you. And they will really want to work with you, no matter what it is that you're offering. All right, friends. That was just like a free-form rant. I guess this is who I am now. But I hope it also just encourages you to do the same. Unleash yourself into your business, into the world. Let people see you as you really are. And you can do that with your thoughts. You don't have to do that with alcohol if you are somebody who is like past me. All right, everybody. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. And I will talk to you again here next time. If you like this podcast, I want to invite you to coach with me over in my program, Mama to CEO. There's you, and there's the consistent income you want to make in your business, and I help you remove everything standing in between. It's lifetime access for mastering your marketing, sales, time, and everything else you need to have the business and life you really want. Whether it's making your first 1,000 or 100,000, I can help you do it. To join, go to mamatoceo.com, mamatoceo.com.